How do you regrip your own golf clubs at home while in lockdown? Let's do it. And let's do it now. Hi everyone, James Robinson here. Guys, first things first, I'd like to warmly welcome you back to the channel. And really, it's kind of a tough time at the minute. I think it's a tough time for all of us. You see, at the moment in the UK, we are in total lockdown, and I'm observing that. I'm not going to work. I'm doing content from the garden. I'm recreating or reproducing content I've already got filmed. Basically just editing content I've already got filmed. So guys, if there are some videos that come on at the moment and you think, oh, he's not doing social distancing, he's not staying at home, he's not in lockdown. I am in lockdown. I'm here in my own office. As you'll see, we are filming in this. I have tidied it, believe it or not, but it's still an absolute mess. So I'm going to go through how you regrip your golf clubs whilst at home, because it's a job that I'm trying to think of things that not only are going to help you, but things that I need to do as well. And you see, there's a club that I want to regrip, and this is the grip that's going to go on it. So these are the things that you need. I've got a nice kind of Scotty Cameron grip on there. That is a clue onto what it's going on to. There is, believe it or not, guys, this isn't water. Other brands are available, but you see that's white spirit, so you definitely don't want to be drinking that. You can use other kind of lubricating liquids, but this one dries really quickly, so it's perfect. You also need a little bit of double-sided tape. Usually this would come in a roll, but I'm not going to lie, I stole it from work, so I should probably move that, shouldn't I? Yeah. You also need a Stanley knife, guys, so if you are under 18 or you're not a responsible adult, or you probably shouldn't be using one of these, just make sure that you get you get a parent or guardian or someone just to do that for you. So they're the things you need right there. You also need a golf club. You need a golf, and this is the one I want to regrip here, because basically the grip hasn't, you see, the grip hasn't worn. It's still, I mean, it's still a pretty new grip, to be fair, but I'm going to be practicing my putting a lot indoors at the moment, and I like a thinner grip, especially on a bladed style head. So I'm going to put this on. I'm going to show you how to take off that without damaging that, and I'm also going to show you how to put the new one on so it sits kind of perfectly straight. So guys, hit those comments below. What are you doing to pass the time at the moment whilst in quarantine, whilst in lockdown? I'm trying to stay as positive as I can, so I have put a couple of holes. Guys, I've made a golf course in the garden. If you haven't seen the video, I'll link it up there now. Hole number 2, what I've done there is double cut it. Oh, it's like Augusta. Oh yeah. Well guys, I honestly didn't think I'd put this on the green. Amen Garden we're calling it, because we may not be able to go to the Masters this year, but I'm going to bring the Masters to you guys. Right guys, so first things first, let's have a bit of a tidy up so we know where everything is. You can go there for now. Will you look after that, please? Thank you. That can go over there. So ideally, what I want to do is I want to take this grip off here without damaging the shaft. Now this is a carbon fibre shaft, so I really don't want to be damaging it really. The grip, now if you did take this into a pro shop, they would be able to salvage this, they'd save it, they'd probably save you 20 or 30 quid, because as you know, these aren't cheap grips. But when you're doing it at home, my worry is I could probably get something down there to save it, but I'd end up damaging the shaft, which is more expensive than the grip. So needs most, unfortunately, the grip is going to go. So we're going to put it on a hard surface there, try and roll the top down just a little bit. It is tough with these new modern day grips. And I'm going to nick it here. So I'm just going to nick it at the back, and that way even if I do catch the shaft a little bit, it's not going to be in my eye line when I'm putting. It's not going to annoy the hell out of me for the rest of my life. So I'm kind of working on a worst case scenario, I suppose. Anyway, so we're back to it. So you can see now I've made, oh, there's a shelf there. You can see now that I've made a little bit of a nick in there. So now I'm just going to really gently, again using my hands as well, just to get, oh there we go, that was a nice one. And what I'm not going to do is try and go too forcefully, because generally with these rubber grips, eventually you can start to, you see what I'm doing here now, just pull it apart a little bit, like So, and this is how you can tell actually, this is how you can tell that you have got a proper kind of quality grip, because it's not just rubber, it's got that kind of lining on there. But we're halfway through a job, James, so we've got that off anyway. Right guys, and once I've done that, I'm going to slowly and gently put the Stanley knife away from me. See, I'm not working towards me, because that would be silly. Obviously we don't want that in the stomach, do we? So remember guys as well, if you aren't a responsible adult, if you're not, I don't know how old you'd have to be really, but please, please, please do not just go and grab a knife out the drawer and start cutting your grips off, and yeah, just don't do it. You can see there that we've gone just deep enough to take the first layer off there. Oh, that looks quite good actually, doesn't it? I've done that, you know what? I might keep that. At least we've got salvaged something out of it. Now we've just got to tell you what, that actually feels really good as a grip as well. I probably couldn't now, but that would have been okay. And hopefully if I come off here now, and hopefully this should just work its way off nicely. I've literally just realised how difficult this is whilst filming. Usually this would take 2 seconds in the pro shop, but obviously we're not in the pro shop, we're at home. And that's an important thing as well. So remembering that we are doing this at home, take a little bit more time, take a little bit more care. Don't be reckless with what you're doing, just because normally, especially if you do work in a shop and you know what you're doing with this, it wouldn't take as long. Some grips aren't this hard to get off actually either, so there's that as well. Right, come on, this time, let's get it off. There we go, done. Right, so as you can see guys, we've made a pretty good job of that. Now I'm going to take the extra tape off, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to have it too thick. Remember, for me the main reason I'm changing the grips is because I want it thinner, so that when I practice in the house now, I'm getting used to what I'm going to be using in the season. If there is a season, there's got to be a season. Hopefully we're going to have a season. So obviously a couple of layers of grip tape does make a big difference. Also guys as well, if you do want to see more content like this at home, let me know what you do want to see, because obviously we're all in the same boat, aren't we? And that is dreamland, I tell you now. Because sometimes guys, getting the tape off is the hardest bit, and the last thing you want to be doing, especially if you're using a graphite shaft on your driver, is firing away with a Stanley knife there, because you start to peel the graphite off, and that is the last thing you want. So we'll just take the last few kind of tiny bits off. Remember guys, if you don't take it all off, you will get lumps and bumps in the grip, and that's not ideal. You really don't want that, to be fair. So that's just, oh, we found a bit there. And one thing you can do, if you do get bits that are really, really, really annoying, is you can put maybe a little bit of white spirit on there, and you can kind of rough it off. But to be honest, this really isn't that bad. This is going to peel off quite nicely, I think. Right guys, now what we're going to do, we're going to give it a little bit of a clean, just to make sure we get all of the old residue of this off. So if there are little bits still on, just make sure you do get them off beforehand. Tiny bit of white spirit on there. Doesn't need to be a lot. I'm going to put the lid back on there, because the last thing I want to do is spill that everywhere. That stinks. Also guys, you might want to open a window as well, because this stuff isn't good for you. So try not to spend too much time with this. You can see how this is taking all the kind of excess horrible stuff off there, so it's nice and smooth, just like it was brand new. Definitely need to open a window, and that is what you want to be left with. You want to be left with, obviously this shows it's the carbon shaft. You want to be left with something that's nothing on there whatsoever, so we're not doing a half a job. Make sure it's nice and dry before we go to the next step, which is, so the next step is obviously taping it. Oh look, camera on camera. I've always wanted to, I don't know, I'm weird. Right, so it's nice and dry, there's no kind of residue on there at all. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the grip we're putting on, and we're going to see how far down it needs to go. So you can put a mark on there with pen if you want. I'm not a huge fan of putting pen on things, to be fair, so I know that it needs to be there. So that's where I'm going to start with the tape. And this is thin tape. Now you can get thin tape, you can get thick tape. Thin tape for me is better, because you just now roll it up, keep it nice and firm, keep it nice and even. and for me it's just a lot easier. The thick tape I find overlaps sometimes, and that's really not what you want at all. Keep going around here. I'm really applying pressure there the whole time. The last thing you want is loose tape, because then that creates bubbles and lines, and especially a thin grip doesn't feel very good at all. Just tear that off, and then the fun bit. Fun bit, peel it off and let it swirl. Just like that. Beautiful. Now you can go two ways if you want to. I'm not a huge fan of going two ways, because remember I'm trying to keep this as thin as possible. But if I put another layer on it, obviously that's going to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to go with the one spiral for now. I can always take this off. I mean, obviously being at home, it's not ideal if you do have to take it off, but I can always take it into work if I need to and redo it. But I think this should be perfect. So let's put the grip on, and this is where it could get messy. So ideally, to be honest, I would have put this down right at the start. But yeah, it's not really me, that, is it? So that can go in the bin. There, that's spare, that's rubbish. And what we're going to do now, guys, I don't want to make a mess, but I'm not very organised, is just put something down. So we're going to put something down, we don't need that anymore, just so that where's the putter? And you'll see, guys, that the putter I've got resting on here, just so nothing's touching it, nothing's going to mess with it. Dog. We're going to put that there, that there. And literally I'm going to cover it in white spirit, knowing that that's going to catch it. There. So obviously the more of this you put on, guys, the easier it's going to be to get the grip on. That's going to do for now. And now we need a hard surface, which we're already preempted, we're going to use the door. We're going to put the grip just on the front, square surface, grip on there, push down, push down, push down, don't stop pushing. Now that is on absolutely perfectly. So if you've got plenty of white spirit on there, then you don't have to worry too much about it being square, because you can manipulate it, but that, it really doesn't get too much better than that. Obviously don't forget to tidy up rather quickly. You see how much of a mess that could have made as well. So guys, there you have it, and make sure you give your hands a good wash. I've just been to wash mine and now give them a dry, because obviously the white spirit isn't the nicest of liquids. Make sure you give the shaft a good wipe as well, because the white spirit will have worked its way down there. If you do get any excess bits of tape like I've got there, wait for it to dry, then you can clip them off nicely. And to be fair now guys, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to move it around too much, because obviously it needs to set. So I'm now going to leave that pride of place for a couple of hours, and it should be perfect. So guys, there you have it. That is how you can change your grips at home whilst you're in lockdown. If you are going to do this, please, please, please be very careful, not only with your equipment, but with yourself. Don't be running around with Stanley knives and things if you don't have to be. And also I should probably say that I by no way profess to be a professional club fitter or club builder, but I've done these jobs before at home, and I think I've done a pretty good job of them. So if you are going to kind of find jobs you need to do whilst we're in quarantine, whilst we're in lockdown, for me this is just one that I really had to do, and I'm quite pleased I've now got that done. I think it looks pretty good with the red as well, so really quite happy with that. It should hopefully help me with my game because it's thinner, but just like anything in golf, maybe it's just a dream. Guys, thank you so much. If you would hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to me. My target while we're in lockdown is to get that number to 100. So if you're not on board, guys, jump on board. It would mean the world to me. Good luck with your practice at home. Good luck with whatever you have to do. Good luck with your health as well. Guys, stay safe. Do not go out. Do whatever your government tells you to do at the moment. And we'll all get through this together, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, leave us a like as well if you enjoyed that, because why not? I'll see you tomorrow.